Coach Alba said the other day that Jalen Wright kind of put an emphasis on his vision, how that's improved. Just kind of what have you seen out of him in that aspect?
Well, a lot of good things. First of all, Jalen Wright has grown tremendously as an inside the tackle runner. When he first got here, he was a guy that really wanted to bounce runs. A lot of that is probably what they asked him to do in high school. So what you see now is a guy that's a lot more attentive about, going through the whole pressing the double team, things like that. Just like all those different things running through the smoke. That's what we talked to a lot of Jay Wright the last couple of years. And you just seen the growth in his game a ton.
Patrick, then Ben.
Jerry, when you talk about Cam Sell back in the spring, you kind of talk about him having to start almost from the ground up because he hadn't played running back really in a long time. What kind of growth have you seen from him mentally over the summer and into camp?
No question. Every practice he gets a little bit better. Not having the baseline like I talked about in the spring, working with them over the summertime, working with them all through camp, being able to get quality reps. I talk about in the staff meeting a lot of times, Cam is a guy that needs to play in front of the big five linemen as much as humanly possible. That means every opportunity he gets to, have those guys out in front of him and understanding leverage and understanding pad level, that's going to be huge for him. And the only way he's going to continue to grow is really just continue to play football. He's really good out in space on the perimeter. I think he's got some comfort zone there. But at the end of the day, big, strong, physical guy. If he keeps developing, as a runner, he's got a chance to be a really good player.
Jerry, with Jabari, how have you seen him improve this offseason? And for a veteran like that, is it about perfecting his craft, or is he working on different things over the offseason? How do you all approach that with a veteran like him?
Yeah, I think the first thing was Jabari understanding some of his deficiencies, and that's, the health piece. He got that addressed in the offseason. The next part is, all these guys, have aspirations to go on to the National Football League, and he's approached on the field and off the field. He's really approached everything like a pro. I've seen a tremendous growth in the meeting rooms, not only just what his assignment is and what he wants to do, but Jabari is also very, very good at understanding the blocking schemes, understanding what the offensive lineman job is, what the receiver's job is, all those different things. He's really grown in the offense. Going into year 3, I think he's been in it now. So understanding his job and his responsibility is pretty easy. Now he's trying to be a pro and an expert and understand the whole how everything fits together.
Reese, then Rob.
Jerry back here. For a running back like Deshaun Bishop that's young, how much does an injury like this affect him when his development when he doesn't get the reps in practice?
Well, obviously, you need reps to actually get better, and that's, we're a little heartbroken about that because, man, that guy was really doing a good job for us. He was coming along. We had really high hopes for him, in the first part of the season. Hopefully, he maybe get an opportunity to come back this season at some point in time. But I do think, you should treat it like a redshirt year. It's a chance for him to get in the meeting room. It's a chance for him to continue to grow just his baseline as far as in our system and what we want. And I have no reserve about saying he's going to come back in the spring and be probably a different player, just for the simple fact he's going to understand all the ins and outs, things that he did not understand quite as well really during the previous spring.
Coach, you got 3 guys, obviously, who've gotten it down in the SEC and 2 talented freshmen mix. Do you have a feel yet for how many guys you might realistically play?
Well, the running back position, just, through attrition, sometimes guys get bumps and bruises. Obviously, we all feel like those guys are 3 down backs, so we feel like they can play, every down. We don't have to rotate guys in for short yardage and pass pro and things like that. All of them have grown. Right now, it's really tough to say. How we've played here in the past. We rotated, usually had a 2-headed monster, and, Dylan Sampson was able to get in the rotation last year and really have some great success. So it really just depends on the flow of the game. One thing about running backs, if a guy has a hot hand, you want to keep him in. So that's no different than what we're trying to do. If a guy is really in a rhythm, I'll be crazy to take that guy out. I got to continue to get the most out of him while he's in a rhythm. But I do foresee, we're going to need all those guys as the season progresses.
Adam, then Austin.
Was it your intention to make sure that Jalen and Jabari were interchangeable, that pass play, run play, both those guys could do the same thing? And are they more interchangeable now than they were 2 years ago?
They definitely are. First of all, they're definitely more interchangeable than a year ago. Jalen has really grown as a pass protector. He's grown with his hands. He can catch the ball out the backfield now. Jabari's grown as a pass protector, so I don't feel like he has a lot of deficiencies from that aspect. The goal is always to recruit, to always have 3 down backs in your room. Guys you feel like are athletic enough to catch the ball out the backfield. But at the same time, there's a short yardage situation and those pass pro situations where you're going to get some of those exotics and things like that those guys are still stout enough enough, big enough, and strong enough to really hold up and not get blown back into the quarterback. And I think over the years, that's what you've seen. Like both of those guys' games both of them are playing at a really high level right now.
You talk about the growth for Jalen. Was there a moment in time where you felt like the light bulb really came on? Because I know they played a ton of football in high school, had senior year canceled and stuff due to COVID. Is it as simple as, just hadn't played a whole lot of football? And then two, you talk about Jabari understanding the health piece. Are you handling him kind of like they handle Jacob at tight end? Like, let's get into the season, let's not, overwork him and, put him in a spot where he can get, have something kind of, be nicked up at the end of the season?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Jalen, just his growth, like I said before, in high school, he just wasn't an all-around runner. He wasn't an every down back. And that's what you've seen him really be intentional about, trying to work those things, those deficiencies that he need to work on. He's going to be one of the poster boys in our program, I think, for a guy that came in extremely raw, on and off the field. And now what you've seen him do is grow into a complete player on and off the field. As far as Jabari goes, Jabari is a guy that, he had no reps really in the spring at all. He hadn't played football before this camp since probably December, the bowl game. So a little bit different than Jacob Warren's situation. Jabari needed to get hit. You saw last year what happened to Jalen Wright when he didn't practice all the camp, and he had those fumbling issues early in the season. So we learned from our mistakes as coaches. So make sure that now Jabari is going to get in there. He's taking some inside drill, which normally he doesn't take. He needs to get that thump, feel those pad on pad, and be able to finish plays. So and he has wanted that. He saw what happened to Jalen last year, and he didn't want that to happen to him this year. So he has embraced the contact more than anything else.
Ryan and Ben.
What have been your early impressions of Keith, and sort of where is he in his development going into the season?
Man, big, strong, powerful guy. He is everything that, when we recruited him, we thought he could be. He came in about 225, between 225 and 230. He's continued to keep, maintain about that body weight, and he can move with it. He plays with it. One thing about him, he does have really good hands. He was a former basketball player in high school too, really athletic. His deal is really just learning our system and how we go about doing things here at Tennessee. I think as a player, you're going to see that guy involved in a lot of special teams, I feel like, this year. Coach Eck is extremely excited about his role on what it can be. As a runner, he is a lot further along than I really even anticipated as a runner right now, running between the tackles. That guy right there, people don't want to come up and tackle him too much. He just got to continue to learn to get himself into shape, play his way into shape more than anything else, and he's gonna contribute, I feel like, this year for us in some kind of capacity.
Jerry, I wanted to ask you about Jalen's ball security, and just in hindsight, do y'all chalk those fumbles up to him just not going through fall camp last year, and as he's gotten further away from that, how has his ball security been?
Well, he really, locked in probably about mid-season last year. And I think after he probably locked in, maybe after the LSU game, I don't think he had any more issues from a ball security issue as far as at least the ball coming out. I do think a lot of that was not being able to get hit at all during the month of August and not understanding that impact and where those bodies were going to come from all the time. Taking some of those things for granted a little bit, squeezing the ball, making sure it's secure. So I think a lot of that was those issues. I haven't seen them fumble, not even in practice, to be honest with you, at all since that probably mid-season of last year.
Adam and then Wes.
You've obviously had a two-man rotation, at least in the regular rotation, with Jalen and Jabari. For Dylan Sampson to get in that and make it a three-man rotation, what about his skill set could get him into that, and what deficiency does he have that could maybe keep him out?
Well, that's going to get him into it is Dylan can do everything for us. Dylan can go out and flex out in the slot. He can play in the backfield, obviously. From a pass pro, that's probably one of the things that just got to make sure that Dylan is spot on with what he's supposed to do. And those smaller guys, Sam has increased his weight. He's about 195 pounds now. Still probably a little bit lighter than we would like, but it is increasing and it is going up. But the biggest thing for him is going to be in pass pro. He's got to be able to eat up the cushion. Don't let those 230, 240 pound linebackers get started. Stop those guys before they can get their feet moving and drive and close that cushion and then go ahead and strike. Because he's not afraid of contact. Sam could play defense. He could play corner if he really wanted to. He will stick his face in there, and he's not afraid of it.
Sure, obviously a player would rather not be hurt, but with the fact that Jabari's had to play through some stuff the past couple of years, it just seems seems like when his teammates speak about him, they speak really highly of sort of his commitment to things and how he'll play through stuff. How much, can you speak to just the respect level that he seems to have among his teammates?
Well, he's a quiet leader. You know, he's not a rah-rah guy. Jabari's not going to be the loudest all the time. You know, he just kind of leads by example. He's the first one in the meetings. He brings a pad. He's taking notes. Like, you know, and guys respect those guys that are pros. They look at those guys. They see those guys. Everybody thinks you got to be the guy that's always loud and always rallying the troops. And that's just not Jabari's demeanor. That's not his personality. But I have seen him, you know, continue to come out his comfort zone and continue to grow as a leader here since we've been at Tennessee. And I think that's a compliment to him. You know, he's got great parents, got great stock. So, you know, he knows what he has to do to take that next step. And, you know, the teammates see it. You know, his teammates understand that, like, this guy right here, you know, that's who I would like to be like from a standpoint of just the way he goes about carrying his business.
All right, thank you, Coach.